Hello, friends. Happy Friday. I hope everyone is doing well and your weekend's off to a great start. I tell you what, I am nothing tonight but ill prepared. Uh, just unbelievable. In fact, I better check just to make sure I'm actually broadcasting this. It looks like I am, which is good. With the 30-second delay, I don't know until 30 seconds after I start talking. Anyway, hope you're all having a great Friday evening, and I'm so happy so many folks could join me. Got the Batches Memorial Friday Savinelli as usual with Haunted Bookshop, and let's see who we've got hanging out with us tonight. I see Doug Owen, Corvette Jim, Jeffrey Feinberg, Voodoo07. Good to see you folks tonight. Doug wants someone to ask me about some rooster or something. Gary Edminster, Piper on the 45. Signal Man Tony from Rhode Island. Good to see you, Tony. Ron Hardcrackers. How you doing, Ron? I saw earlier that Jim was lighting up his new birth year Dunhill. Congratulations on that, Jim. I saw the video. Very generous and wonderful. George Tiedemann. Hello, George. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate the feedback. Yeah, so not only did I have a week break, which shouldn't really be a big deal, but believe it or not, there's a lot of steps that I have to go through only because I don't leave this all set up. You know, it all comes apart and stuff, so I have to put it all back together when it's time. And it's not, you know, super technically challenging or anything, but I do have these things, and so I got to remember what to do. Plus, my wife is in visiting her family in Pittsburgh, so I'm dealing with dogs and dinner and, you know, not burning down the house and not tripping over my own 2 feet and whatnot. So yeah, it's quite impressive to me that I was able to start this on time. Pipe Time, hello there, and Poonie Pipe Man, good to see you guys. Tim Fournier, good to see you, Tim. I'm glad you're still here. And there's Bona Piper. How you doing tonight, Christian? Michael Case, thank you. It is good to be back. I appreciate that. I'll tell you a little bit about our vacation. I talked about it on Sunday in my Sunday video, but you know, sort of condensed nutshell version. We had a great time. The weather was perfect. A little bit of sunburn, which is why the title of this was something about sunburn. Just a little joke there. Nothing terrible for me. My wife actually got it worse than me, which is hilarious because she was yelling at me for not putting on sunscreen. So, but yeah, we had a great time, great food. I got a couple of stories that I will tell over the next couple of weeks because they need some explanation, and I didn't want to cram them all into one video on Sunday, but I think something to look forward to on the next couple of Sundays, for me at least. I hope you can look forward to it too, because some of there's a couple of funny stories. Yes, Doug, the photo of me with the giant bird is indeed from our vacation. We were driving along and there was this giant rooster, and I know several people that have some interest in chickens for one reason or another. And the one that immediately came to mind when I saw that was our buddy Phil Rivera, who, as you know, has been adopted by a feral rooster. So I had to take that picture and I put it on Instagram and said that I tried to get the shop owner to let me buy it so I could send it to Phil, so that his rooster buddy would have a friend. But yes, that's why that picture is there. I just think it's funny. Meerschaum Mountaineer 304, good to see you tonight. The Urban Hermit, how you doing, Everett? St. David's Pipe, good to see you, David. Stanley Smith, good to see you tonight, Stanley. I saw Couch mentioned. I didn't see him come in, but hello, Couch, if you're out there. And there's Armchair Piper. How you doing tonight, Ed? It's funny, like the first 15 minutes of any live stream is just an endless stream of names and people saying names back and forth, which is wonderful. Oh, there's waving hands too. You know, it just shows you what a great community we have. I've been to many, many non-pipe live streams where it's just people shouting at the person presenting. No interaction at all, unless they're yelling at one another. Don't ever bother to go to a political live stream. It's just not worth it. It is funny how we get sucked into things, though. You go to something like that, you're watching it and you're reading the comments and you see somebody say something stupid and other people start jumping on them and you think, well, should I jump too? Or even better, you see someone say something you agree with and they start jumping on them. Do you come to their defense? The truth is the best thing to do is to just watch the show. Paul Johnson, hello. He's enjoying espresso in a mirror, looking at Snow Canyon Mountains. Very nice, Paul. Gary Eminster's got his Peterson Sherlock Holmes original with his own mix tonight. And the Urban Hermit has Old Joe Krantz in a Sav 623. Good stuff, Everett. Michael Case is asking, was the giant rooster French, as in big chicken? You know, Michael, I read that all the way through before I said it. I didn't get the joke until I read it out loud. And Gary's also got a Mexican beer to go with his pipe tonight. Very nice. So it was a long day. As I mentioned, my dearest is not here. She left yesterday, so I'm doing all the stuff that she would do. I had to go shopping. I picked up the rest of the wood that I need for my, I don't even know what to call that thing anymore, my project. And got home, did some more work, made myself dinner. And so anyway, I'm tired. You know, I guess I'm just old, but I'm tired. And I thought, I'm gonna drink water tonight because I'm gonna fall asleep if I don't. Blue Dog, how you doing, Eric? Smoking pirate cake from 2015. That sounds very nice. And St. David's Pipe has a Rossi Vittoria with 8th State Burley. Good stuff. Yes, Doug, Phil's rooster is a bit smaller, but a bit more feisty. We actually, I would love to do an interview with Phil's rooster. I know Phil's not feeling well. We probably won't see him tonight. He's got a cold apparently, and he's been having a rough week. So I hope you're feeling better, Phil. But I'd love to get him to join us and let me do an interview with the rooster. I think that would be a lot of fun. So anyway, I figure I'm tired. I'm not going to have an adult beverage tonight, and then and so I'm drinking water. It's not the end of the story though. So then it's like 15 minutes before I have to start this, and all of a sudden the dogs want to go out, and I have to leave them out because if they start barking, what am I going to do? And then I thought, oh geez, I didn't water the vegetable garden, so I'm running around watering the vegetable garden and all that, and I wind up twisting my ankle, which will be fine, but it just, so by the time all that was done, I wound up getting some whiskey as well. Now, I didn't lie to myself. I am drinking water. I think that works out. Little Fat Morgan, good to see you tonight, Todd. And there's Big Country Briar. Having a good one here, Cole. Armchair Piper is having a 1950 Smooth Dunhill billiard, and that's his birth year. That's good stuff. Paul the Piper, how you doing, Paul? It's great to see you tonight. Smarty Bob. Doug and Michael Case, our two big Francophiles, are going at it again. Beowulf and Miss Kathy, good evening. A left-handed pipe with some Carter Hall. I've never had a left-handed pipe. I had a left-handed monkey wrench. Artie's Place, how you doing, Artie? Artie, Rick's dog has recovered. They brought him home from the vet. We're able to pay the medical bills thanks to lots of folks' kindness, and Willow is doing great. So thanks for asking. Meerschaum Mountaineer picked up another old pipe from an old friend, Savoy's Ludlow. I'm gonna have to read. I'm gonna put on the glasses. Savory's Ludlow, England. Turns out to be just a great old pipe. It'll be a keeper. Yeah, some of them old estates with, maybe I just don't know the brand here, but I don't recognize it. There's sort of unknowns. A lot of them were factory seconds from some of the big names, and back then a factory second, wasn't so bad. These days they're selling things as firsts that probably would not have passed the seconds back then. Doug, are you owning up to that Dunhill? Oh, Gary's got a left-handed screwdriver. Is a left-handed screwdriver when you stare it counterclockwise? Doug says, can anybody beat an old guy's birth year Dunhill 1948 smooth Briere billiard? That's going to be a tough one to beat for sure. Paul the Piper brings it up first. Wants to know he wonders what matches would have thought about the Haunted Bookshop plug. So if you haven't seen it, Cornell and Deal announced that they're pressing Haunted Bookshop into a cake. Yeah. So I don't know if I showed you this. I know I showed it on Sunday. I did get the Cornell and Deal Zippo because I love Cornell and Deal. I just really love their tobacco, and I love Zippos, and I thought, well, why wouldn't I get this? And then the day I start using it, they announced they're going to sell a limited release of Haunted Bookshop pressed into a cake. So to answer your question, Paul, I have no idea, but I did actually press Haunted Bookshop into a cake years ago. I don't know how many years ago. I don't think I did a video on the process, but I did do a video on another pressing that I did of something else, and I'm fairly certain I reviewed the pressed Haunted Bookshop, and I sent it out to a couple of folks. One of the folks I sent it to was Matches, and he tried it, and I don't know if he put it in a video or if it was just an email thing, but we both agreed that it tasted like Haunted Bookshop. The interesting thing was it burned slower, and that got me excited at first because I thought, well, heck, if you got a slow burning Haunted Bookshop, that's pretty cool. It'll last longer. But then, of course, I realized that I was putting more into the bowl because it was pressed and I wasn't rubbing it out very much. And yeah, so you were actually putting probably more into your bowl than you could have ever put into it if it was the ribbon cut. And that's why it was smoking longer. So yeah. Doug, that is cool. I did not know that. Doug was born in '48 and was named after MacArthur. Very cool. Tim, that's terrible. You should get in touch with Twix headquarters immediately. Smarty Bob says a left-handed screwdriver is when you were unscrewing. No, so Gary says if the pipe rack has Haunted Bookshop plug, he will try it. And please let us know, Gary. I look forward to folks trying it. I'm not gonna go out of my way for it. There's nothing wrong with Haunted Bookshop. Leave it alone, for goodness sake. Paul is asking, was it sweeter? Meaning, sorry, where's my wooden tab? Oh, there it is. Meaning, was the pressed Haunted Bookshop sweeter? I don't think so, Paul. It just kind of tasted like Haunted Bookshop. And I smoked a fair amount of it. I think I pressed 8 ounces. And, you know, I sent out probably half of that, and I smoked the other half. And to me, it just always tasted like Haunted Bookshop. Yeah, Artie, I've seen those Zippo lighters, the copper with the black insert. They do look really cool. Oh, Couch, I would sue. I would bring them up on charges. I've seen you, and you're clearly a degenerate. Scott Terry, hello. Thank you for joining us from Maine, Scott. Good to see you tonight. Yeah, I agree, Michael. It is more work. I was looking at the comments on Cornell and Deal's post. And it's funny, people keep, every time Cornell and Deal post about this on Instagram, people mention me in the comments. And I'm starting to feel a little self-conscious about it. I don't want Cornell and Deal to start charging me extra or anything for being the critic of pressed Haunted Bookshop. I'll shout from the mountaintops about Haunted Bookshop itself, but just don't press it. But several people have said, you know, is it going to be cheaper because we have to rub it out now? There you go, Cole. You're doing a form of pressing just by cellaring. Yeah, I do the same. Mine is pretty well packed in. Piper said was named after MacArthur also. He was born before me and was, oh, you were named, oh, okay, haha, you were named after. Gotcha. No, you know, Voodoo, I don't get that because Haunted Bookshop doesn't taste like cigarettes to me at all. I know there's people that say it, and it just shows how different tastes are. But Haunted Bookshop is a really good burley blend with a lot of Virginia. And there's a lot of sweetness in it. But you have to smoke it right. If you really freight train it, it probably is going to be cigarette-y. If you take your time with it, it's a good blend. Yeah, 3 Ps. That's true, Paul. Nice but hard work. Burley Nut Bob's got country lawyer in a Wessex Lovat. Oh, Tim was working on Lightfoot Road at sundown, and he better take care. Well, if you find I've been creeping up, is it creeping down up that stair? That doesn't sound like it makes sense, but I think that's what the words are. I was just thinking today, Tim, it's been a long time since Tim tried to insert an earwig, and there you go. Scott Terry enjoying some Dunhill Standard Mixture and a Peterson Straight Bulldog. Nice. The Urban Hermit says the Haunted Bookshop is the best. And Gary Edminster uses old plastic coffee containers. I assume for cellaring, Gary? Oh, Doug, I think I had very little to do with that. But yes, Haunted Bookshop is their #1 seller. So why in the world are they messing with it? Creeping down that back stair? That doesn't sound right. Creeping up my back stair? You've been creeping. It seems like the word down comes right after creeping. Creeping down that back stair. Yeah, I guess that is it. Ah, it's something like that. Thanks, both Doug and Scott. I now will not be able to get that on my head. Gotcha, Gary. Yeah, it's. I mean, I use the tubs for you know, the Carter Hall tubs, but I've often thought like the creamer containers, and I use those for these kinds of things. Which this is my pipe cleaner disposal unit. They would be fine, at least for, you know, short-term storage, like something you were going to smoke during the course of a year. I think they would be fine. Piper on the 45's got Old Joe in a K-Woody something tone. Those letters are just a little too small. It does say rug. Rug tone? Lavat. Okay. Pipe Time's got 10-year-old Chelsea Morning. And he says it's a fantastic smoke. Fabulous smoke. Greg Pease knows his stuff, no question. Is Zachary one of the little guys, Tim? Some nights Smarty Bob's just happy to find his stairs. Yeah, Paul, it's great fun, and I tell you, I'm really privileged to be able to sit here and read them and just have to occasionally say something. The crash that is coming. Ah, Gary, we shall see. Boris the Piper, hello. Good to see you, Boris. Rough. Okay, that's better than Rug, Piper on the 45. Really, Doug? Doug says Gordon Lightfoot is still performing at 90. Amazing. Ah, you're old. Okay, well, then if Zachary's watching, I certainly appreciate it, and keep that pipe empty for a while. Your dad will help you out when the time is right. Yeah, David, everything's going up because of the crazy inflation. You know, and yeah. Just ride it out. It's another one of these waves. It will come back. Corvette Jim says his cellar is a 10 by 30 storage unit. Ah, so some of your tobacco made it across the fence, huh, Everett? Good to hear that. An armchair piper saw Gordon Lightfoot in concert in '76. Wow. I mean, the frustrating thing is that this whole inflation thing could be turned off tomorrow. And, you know, the Fed raising interest rates isn't going to do it. It's crazy. It's all related to oil. And it's all, well, yeah, Doug, but there's a deeper question involved. Doug is saying that inflation is caused by too much money chasing too few goods, and that's absolutely true. But the question is, why were there suddenly too few goods? And that's the thing that's a bit harder to unpack. It can be unpacked. Corvette Jim's getting 2 new pipes tomorrow if USPS is awake. Anyway, enough of this talk of inflation and such. It's funny, I was thinking about, I know almost nothing about it, but I was thinking about cryptocurrency about a month and a half ago. Just thinking maybe it would be a good idea to put some money into it because, you know, it seemed to be always going up and it was a relatively safe and secure investment. And I looked last night because I had heard some stuff about it dropping, and man, it has really dropped. I'm glad I did not pull the trigger on that. Yeah, Everett, I sure hope you like the Nutty Irishman. It's I find it very enjoyable. Smarty Bob saw the Statler Brothers in concert in '55. Wow. Big Country Briar's got Haunted Bookshop and a Jack Ryan pipe. Yeah, Tim, tariffs are definitely part of it. But oil prices are a big part of it too. Yeah, Beowulf and Miss Kathy. I mean, this idea that we're all going to run out and buy electric cars is kind of stupid. I mean, I don't think there's many of us that could afford to go out and buy an electric car. And I was talking to my dad the other day. He just, by the way, my dad just turned 78 yesterday. No, Wednesday. Turned 78 years old, and he's in excellent health. So, and we were talking about cars, and he jokingly said, "Why don't you?" Because my car's still broken. I still haven't gotten it fixed. And he jokingly said, "Why don't you buy one of them electric cars?" And I, said no. And I said, honestly, I don't know how I would get from here to Vermont because, or at least once I got there, I don't know how I'd get back because I don't know where there would be charging stations in Vermont. And he said that, in the area that he travels in, they've never seen one. There's one at the dealer that sells the darn things, but I doubt very much they're going to let me pull up and plug in there. Thank you, Indiana Piper. Appreciate that. Use Uncle Jesse's moonshine for fuel. That's a good suggestion, Tim. And the Urban Hermit has an alternative form of fuel as well. Yeah, there's the issues with the power grid. I mean, the other problem, of course, with electric vehicles is that where does the electricity come from? It doesn't like magically appear. You get electricity mostly from burning coal or from nuclear plants. And I'd be happy if we had more nuclear plants. But thank you, St. David. I will pass the well wishes along. Wow, that is cool, Doug. Doug Owens saw Gordon Lightfoot in a solo concert, and he drew about 25 or 30 people. It was so few that they were invited to bring their chairs on the stage. That must have been fantastic. I agree, Brian. I don't think the kinks are worked out yet. Andrew Sirigliano, good evening. Happy Friday to you, sir. So did Cheech and Chong. Ron Hard Crackers is going to have a bowl of Daughters and Ryan 3 Sales and a Country Gentleman. And when he finishes that, he's going to have some Haunted Bookshop. 15 minutes in a Country Gent. Yeah, the Daughters and Ryan blends burn pretty quick, don't they? Yeah, Doug, you were there at the very beginning. That's another good point, Tim. The batteries are actually terrible for the environment. The lithium mines are really just an environmental disaster. Voodoo says there's charging stations in the grocery stores in Milwaukee. Well, that's good. Yeah, there's Phil Rivera. Has some Gordon Lightfoot original photos that his brother took at a USAF concert in 917 as combat photographer. Very nice, Phil. Phil, hope you're feeling better, buddy. Really, Everett? Did they have paper bags, or did they tell you have to bring your own bags? Yeah, I see Brian Woodward saying that electric cars are awesome, and Voodoo saying the infrastructure needs to develop, and it probably will, and there'll probably be more of them, but I don't think it'll ever replace regular cars. I mean, they 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 work. They work fine. The environmental impact is not what people think it is. Uh, it's there's just people just assume that things are bad for the environment without really investigating it. But the alternatives, as Tim pointed out, the batteries are terrible for the environment. Um, like people, there was a book written, and the title of it will come to me, probably about 10 years ago, that went into a lot of these things. And one of the things they looked at is, I'm going to ride a bicycle to work because that's more environmentally friendly than driving my car. Well, when you factor in how much the bicyclist how much additional they have to eat to fuel themselves in order to make that trip every day, and the amount of land that it takes to produce that food, you actually wind up with a greater carbon footprint than if you were to drive your car, because you're getting gasoline from a little hole in the ground. So it's interesting. It's a lot more complicated than we think, and myself included. It's a lot more complicated than any of us think. Yeah, I don't want to be there when the electric cars catch fire. Andrew's got some haunted bookshop in his matches Savinelli while watching fireflies. Yeah, this is a great time of year, Andrew. I agree with you, and I love watching the fireflies. It's a good question, Indiana Piper. I have no idea how long it takes to charge one. All right, Phil, you take it easy, get some sleep, and hope you feel better, buddy. Yeah, that's true. That's what people said about cars replacing the horse and buggy, although you don't have to feed cars and brush them and... Yes, Doug, I've heard that. Lightfoot said that the Edmund Fitzgerald was played by disc jockeys so they could go have a cigarette break because it was so long. Yeah. That's a song that gets stuck in my head forever, and I do not know the words, so I make up my own words. Uh, Sometimes I sing it around the house, and my wife throws things at me. Yeah, Meerschaum Mountaineer. I mean, the Tesla's a nice car. I'm not arguing that at all. Um, I just that's a good point, Cole. If we all switch over to electric vehicles, it'll put more coal miners back to work, and that's a good thing. 15-car nuclear pileup in what was once Atlanta at 11. Good one, Tim. 4 to 6 hours for a quick charge? That doesn't sound very quick. Yes, Hooligan in Agata DeVito was another one of those cigarette break or bathroom break songs for DJs. Indiana Piper thinks the Teslas are ugly. Well, given the variety of cars out there on the market, we obviously all have different tastes. Couch wants to know which pipe is next, probably in a desperate attempt to get me to stop talking about electric vehicles. I am going to be smoking the Mincer Doodler next. Got it right here. I don't know what I'm going to smoke in the Mincer Doodler. I've got a couple of options. I know Misha Mountaineer. I know. I wasn't accusing you of wanting one. Hydrogen powered cars. Yes, I've seen talk of that. Yeah, I guess Alice's Restaurant was another one too. That's a long song. I remember first time I heard Alice's Restaurant, there was a radio station in Philadelphia that would play it every Thanksgiving. And I just happened to have it on that year and it came on and I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I was like doing stuff and, helping with the Thanksgiving things and all that. And, oh, that's still on. And it's a really long song. Patrick Grant, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you tonight. Yes, and Don McLean's American Pie is another long one. Where's Northwest Pipe Smoker on the Mincer Doodler? I don't know, Gary. He might show up. That's a good point, Paul. If the haunted plug doesn't go so well, we could burn it for fuel. Kind of like the Irish burning sod to heat their houses. Oh, is that true? All classic rock stations do it on Thanksgiving? I didn't know that, Tim. Shows you how much I listen to classic rock stations, at least at the holidays. Well, sure, Brian. If you give the electric vehicles a chance on their own merit and not compare them to gas or the environment, they're quite impressive. But heck, if you're gonna make exclusions like that, you could say anything is quite impressive. Hooligan, are you smoking in soda bed or are you going to bed? Oh, good evening. I guess you're going. Well, thank you for joining us, Hooligan SC. It's good seeing you. Algae-based fuel. That's interesting, Voodoo. An aircraft fueled by algae-based fuel. Smarty Bob was waiting for the 62 Chrysler turbine to hit the market so he could drive it with McDonald's French fry oil. Yeah, Patrick, we talked about the haunted bookshop pressed into cakes. Some folks are excited about it. I personally am not understanding why they would do it, but such is life. And not to prolong the electrical vehicle thing, but just to say, if you got one or you want one and you think they're a good thing, that's fine. I mean, there's who knows? Maybe the technology will improve. Maybe there'll be more efficient charging mechanisms. Um, you know, it's like anything else in life. You form an opinion, and the opinion might change over time. And I would never say anyone is wrong or stupid about an opinion on something like that because we don't know. We just don't know. I do think it makes sense to continue to research them, to continue to invest in development, and try to fix some of the problems that we mentioned. Like it'd be great if we could get away from lithium batteries, but given their current state, I'm just not interested. Yeah, Doug, I agree with that. It certainly doesn't create a cooler smoke. Would I ever use a butane insert that Zippo now sells? Asked George Tiedemann. Yeah, they've been around for a while. Not Zippo brand, I think, but it's like I think it's called Firebird or something. was making them. I like. I don't know why I would do it, to be honest. I mean, I've never had a butane lighter that worked as long as a Zippo lighter works. They always seem to wind up having problems, and Zippos just work, you know. And yeah, you got to fill them every day, but it's not such a big deal. You can just do what I do and keep a bottle of Zippo fluid at arm's reach at all times, and you'll be fine. Brian's given some specs that are very impressive. Patrick's pointing out the infrastructure issue that we talked about earlier. You know, the thing is, you got to understand, guys, that when it comes to cars, I'm really not the best person to ask, because I still drive a standard largely because I don't trust automatic transmissions. My next car is probably going to be an old pickup truck because I want to be able to fix it. I want to be able to work on it myself. And new cars, you just can't do it. You know, with all the computerization and everything, you're very limited in what you can do yourself. And I don't like that. And you know, I take my car to the dealer or to mechanics to get it fixed, and I rarely work on it anyway. But I just don't like knowing that I can't. So that's my problem. That's not a problem with the technology or anything, but when I say I'm not interested in electric vehicles, a big part of it is that I don't understand them well enough to do anything with them. Excuse me, I'm trying to get, I did not clean out the doodler from earlier today. I've got the remnants of the last bowl upon a bookshop in here. Well, not the last bowl, but a recent bowl. All right, so I got to pick my next tobacco. And yes, thank you, Paul the Piper. Guys, please, if you're inclined, do hit the thumbs up button. It helps us get the word out. And, you know, the more the merrier is the way I look at it. Welcome to Car Talk. No, Michael, no. I love Car Talk. I loved that show. It was really sad when Tommy passed away, because it was a great show. That's true, Andrew. It is vintage. Yeah, it's very disturbing when I see cars that I remember looking at when I was younger, thinking, oh, I might like that car, that are now classics. Yeah, I know, Indiana Piper. I'm living with that big money problem right now. That's why I haven't gotten my car repaired. So, I have a couple of options. I can go with more Haunted Bookshop. I can have my 2020 blend. I've got the Nutty Irishman, and I do have the Saint Espresso, which I'm not liking, but I'm willing to try again. See if I can pull anything else out of it. Anybody want to pick something? Yeah, Car Talk was a great show. I mean, anytime you can laugh that much and still learn something. Patrick Grant has Haunted Bookshop and a Sav 602 bent billiard. The new Ford Iditarod. Yeah, Indiana Piper, that would be nice. 50s, 60s Ford. I'm not a Chevy guy, but yeah, that would be good too. Patrick Grant wants me to smoke the 2020 blend. Everett's going for Nutty Irishman. I should get in touch with Philly Piper, Cole. I think you mentioned that before. I really should. 2 votes for Nutty Irishman, 1 vote for Saint Espresso, 1 vote for 2020 blend. Oh, it's not a big deal, Indiana Piper. Now I got to vote for Haunted Bookshop. The classic Carter Hall. I've got that too, Jeffrey. I just didn't list it, but Poplar Camp. I don't have that within reach. Ah, Doug, I'm sorry. I don't have any Captain Black Grape. That's not going to happen. Paul the Piper's getting into the 3 Ps after a decade of preparation. That's funny, Paul. All right, you guys are starting to mention Captain Black Grape a little too much. I got 2 votes for the Nutty Irishman, so that's what I'll do. And the Nutty Irishman is in the Saint Espresso tin for complicated reasons. I decided to jar the Saint Espresso because I knew I wasn't going to smoke it quickly. So we will load the Mincer Doodler with some Nutty Irishman. Yeah, the car problem, I'm sorry guys if you've heard me talk about this a couple times already, but I'm letting Indiana Piper know. I need a new steering shaft. And the mechanic I go to is really good, and he said he'd be happy to put it in for me at a reasonable price, but he can't get the part. And I've been trying to get the part, and the only place I could find the part was either on eBay or Amazon, and I don't know. I mean, I guess the Amazon would probably be okay. It says it's the original part, but my worry is that he's going to get into the thing, and it's not a simple job. You know, he's going to have the thing all torn apart. He's going to find out he needs another part that he can't get. So I'd rather let the dealer do it. Although I'm mad at the dealer. I just realized I have no idea how Nutty Irishman is going to go with Scotch. This will be interesting. Smarty Bob is hoarding the Captain Black Grape. That explains it. Yeah, you're right, Jim PM. The Nutty Irishman, I like it, but it doesn't. The aromatic that you get on the first light very quickly diminishes, but that's okay. What I like about it is that you still get plenty of tobacco flavor. You know, a lot of times with an aromatic, it's like 1 or 2 puffs of flavor, and then it's just kind of hot air. Jeffrey Feinberg's trying to bring me over to the light side of transmissions. I don't know. My wife's car, I've been driving my wife's car a lot. So my car is still drivable. Like I have it right now, and if I have to go into work, that's what I'll drive, or if I have to go over to the grocery store, I won't take it on the highway. But my wife has a 2019 Santa Fe, Hyundai Santa Fe, and the darn thing is just too smart for me. Ron Hardcracker says he's been watching a channel called Rolled Into the Shop. Cars go into a shop after DIY mechanics fix their cars with bungee cords and duct tape. Drivers are alive by luck and God's grace for idiots. Wow. No, this guy's pretty good. He's done work on my car, and there's been no duct tape or bungee cords. He's pretty good. Patrick, it's that same McClellan Scotch that I had a couple weeks ago. I am drinking water, Gary. I've got it right here. Oh, interesting. So Beowulf and Miss Kathy are saying Nutty Irishman goes really well with good Scottish tea. It really wakes up the taste buds. Yeah, tea can be very taste bud waking. Yeah, Andrew, pretty much. It dries fine as long as I don't need to turn. It turns fine. It's just that there's a little click in the turning. So normally you turn the wheel and the car immediately responds. Now I got to go like this and then it starts to respond. So it's not great. And it's dangerous because eventually that's going to break. But so yeah, the reason I brought my wife's car up is that it does things like if you're at a red light, it shuts off, and it's the strangest feeling. Like all of a sudden the car just turns off, and when it starts up again, there's like this lurch. And the first time it happened to me, I thought somebody rear-ended me. Oh, that's interesting, Brian. It's an interesting approach. But I guess the problem with that is you always have a car payment. Although the truth is, I always have a car payment. I'll drive my car. My car is, I think it's a 2011, might even be a 2010, and I'm still driving it because I'm waiting for my wife's car to be paid off before I start another car payment. So, yeah, I guess that's just a fact of life. Smarty Bob is cellaring a lot of Captain Black grape until it becomes raisins. That is hilarious. Lane keeps making it much safer to pack a pipe while driving? Don't quite get that. You put a Scotsman and an Irishman together in a room with tea, and eventually there will be a fist fight over various issues. That's true, Doug. And, I have a lot of Irish in me, so I can say this. If you put an Irishman alone in a room with tea, there will eventually be a fist fight. Patrick says his aunt's car does the same thing. It's really annoying. Hoist a sail on the roof of the car. Auto stop eliminator is $80 and takes 10 minutes to install. My wife would shoot me if I did anything to her car. No, it's not the bearings, Paul. It's just the connection between the steering shaft and the I guess the rack and pinion, or it's a coupling along the way to that. And the Welshmen will finish their drinks. Indeed, David. Sounds like a loose nut behind the wheel. Yeah, they looked at it. They said it's definitely the shaft, the coupling. So it's a good question, Gary. What is that doing to the starter? Jim PM is Scottish and Irish. That's why he argues with himself. Yeah, paying cash for the car is an option. I see Corvette Jim and I think it was Brian said that they do that. Cars do still have bearings, Paul. They do. You can't get to them. Oh, that lane. I got you, Brian. I thought when you said lane is making it safe to pack your pipe while driving, I thought you meant Lane Limited, the tobacco company. So, bit of a one-track mind here. And Michael Case is chiming in with car payments are evil. Yeah, they are. So Doug says that raisins packed into a coconut over time become very potent jungle juice. I might have to try that. And he's pointing out to St. David that his name is Owen, thus because of the Welsh thing. And Tim's, let's all make fun of our favorite nationality to put down. Yeah, why not? Tim's taking it out on the Canadians now. They instigate the fight. Sit back and watch. Andrew, there might be a button. There's a lot of buttons. I don't know. The car is really complicated. And if it was mine, I would have read the manual, but I didn't think I'd ever be driving it. And of course, my wife didn't read the manual, so I asked her, what's this button do? And she says, I don't know. Oh, Voodoo. Oh, I got the joke now. Sorry you had to point it out to me. That is funny. Yes, there is a loose nut behind the wheel. All right, Tim's French Canadian, so he gets to make the Canadian joke. I have Welsh in me. My fraternal grandmother's maiden name was Williams. And she was at least 50% Welsh. I'm a real mutt when you get right down to it. My sister's been doing that ancestry thing. Really pretty cool. Yes, Smarty Bob, that is what this car is like. You just might get ejected. Oh, that's cool, St. David. So your dad was born in Wales? Indiana Piper 36 is representing Scotland. Doug Owens pointing out the politeness of Canadians. Yes, but I was talking to my buddy Everett, the urban hermit, earlier this week, and we were discussing the politeness of Canadians, and they are polite to a point, but when they got a job to do, they get it done. Of course, St. David is the patron saint of Wales. Yes. Indeed. I really am enjoying this Nutty Irishman. It surprised me. Because I've had a lot of Cornell and Diehl aromatics that I haven't liked, with the exception of Autumn Evening, and I know there's folks who don't like Autumn Evening. I will definitely let you know when the ancestry gets back to Genghis Khan. Thanks for that, Tim. I'm glad you expect that to happen. Hey, Tim Hortons makes some pretty fine coffee. Back in the days when I would drink, I used to love Dunkin' Donuts coffee, but it was always with cream and sugar. I've had it black. I stopped putting cream and sugar in my coffee a couple years ago, and I've had it black, and it just isn't good. I was drinking the cream and sugar. But Tim Hortons is really good. Like if I had a choice between Dunkin' Donuts and Tim Hortons back then, I would have gone with the Tim Hortons. And I have had Tim Hortons black, and it's quite nice. So, good coffee. And there are some in the US now. Patrick Grant says he's got Scottish from his father's father, Portuguese from his father's mother, French from her dad, Haitian and African from her grandmother. So Patrick, you're as mixed up as I am, huh? We're melting pots. Beowulf and Miss Kathy are saying half Scottish, half Indian. They just don't know which half is which. Oh, they shut down the Tim Hortons in New York City there, Patrick? Well, maybe they're not. There's not as many of them as I thought. A third of the population of the world can be traced back to Genghis Khan. Well, he was busy. There are a lot of them in upstate New York, St. David says. And I thought there were a couple out in Pittsburgh, David. I thought. Michigan? Okay, so they are still in the U.S. I've tried that one, Andrew. Peter Stokkeby PS24 Nougat. Didn't like it. It's so I get this thing where I can taste the chemicals instead of the flavoring in a lot of the aromatics, and that one was very chemical forward to me. But that's because my taste is weird. Patrick says he's basically an alley mutt. Yeah, me too. Or basically a mutt, yes. Me too, Patrick. No, Jeffrey, I don't like Starbucks Black. It reminds me of when I'd work in places that had those bun coffee makers and somebody would leave it on the burner with the burner on overnight. And you come in the morning thinking it was fresh coffee and it was just burnt nonsense. Yeah, I don't like Starbucks anything. St. David says there's 4 in Pittsburgh and Corvette Gym, and someone else said that they had closed down in a couple of places. Jim P saying closing in Ohio too. Yeah. Michael Case's family tree has an uncle hanging from it. That's true, Doug. We are mosaics. What's neat about the ancestry site, this is ancestry.com, and I'm not plugging them, but it is pretty cool, is you can see like death certificates and marriage certificates and even like news stories about people. And it was really fun to kind of look at this. And I have all these stories that I remember my grandparents telling me, and to actually see, you know, that person's signature or in some cases a picture of them and stuff, it was really cool. Andrew does the Tim Hortons at home. Is that like a Keurig thing, Andrew? If there was a Hooters coffee shop, Indiana Piper, I would go there. Jim says they call Starbucks $5. Yeah. Tim got tired of picking on other nationalities. Now he's attacking the folks in Alabama. Interesting, Beowulf and Miss Kathy. Says an elder once asked me my tribe, and when I told him Cherokee, he said Cherokee are like beer cans, you find them in every road ditch. Yes, Jim PM, the Church of Latter-day Saints does keep a lot of genealogical information, and I think Ancestry taps into that. Oh, that's cool, Patrick. I think you told me that before too. That's really neat. His grandmother's father was a bowler in the 1926 West Indies cricket team, and they were the first team to play in England. Yeah, I'm my own grandpa. I know that one, Michael. Smarty Bob went to Ancestry.com once and found out his first wife was half wit and captain by grape. All right, St. David, thank you for joining us, buddy. You have a great weekend. Indeed, Indiana Piper. I love Johnny Cash. I've been on this kick lately where I've been listening on Sirius XM to Willie's Roadhouse, and I used to really love. Wait, is it called Willie's? Yeah, it used to be Willie's Place. So they used to have like Roadhouse Radio and Willie's Place, and Willie's Place was really old country music, and then Roadhouse Radio was sort of what I guess you call classic country music. They merged the two into Willie's Roadhouse, and it's still good, but they don't play as much of this. I really love like the old Bob Wills stuff or Lefty Frizzell, that kind of stuff. They still play it, but not as much. There's a lot more like 70s kind of country music in it, which is fine, but a lot of Johnny Cash. And on my way home tonight, I from the grocery store, I heard one piece at a time. The song Johnny Cash sings about working at the Cadillac factory and taking a part of the Cadillac out in his lunchbox every day until he had enough to build his own car. Yeah, I was going to light it and I didn't need to. I'm glad the dogs are being good tonight. I was a little worried about that. They're all alone, but I left Walker Texas Ranger on the TV for them, so. My wife would be upset. We leave the TV on for them. It's just some noise. So if we go out, we turn the TV on. And when I go, if she's not home and I go out, I usually put on Westerns or something like that. And she gets really upset because they're girls and they want to watch the Hallmark Channel. Oh, that's cool, Patrick. The local cricket club in Jamaica had a moment of silence for, I guess it was your great grandfather, Patrick, um, when he passed away. That's really cool. Uh-oh. Gary Edminster Zippo needs a flint. I hope you know where you put him. They fell asleep in pure boredom. You mean the dogs watching the Hallmark Channel, Tim? Yes. Yes, Bob Wills is still the king. He was something. Corvette Jim's dog watched the game show channel. Yeah, when we lived in Atlanta, I was much more interested in news. So I would keep on things like Fox News or CNN headline news, something like that all the time. Nowadays, I just don't care. I catch up on headlines and I actually read that pour over that I've talked about. That's a pretty good, calm way of getting the highlights of the news. So I really enjoy that. But back then, I was kind of a news junkie, and that's what we would have on the TV most of the time we were going out. And the dogs were just they were a nightmare. They get in all kinds of trouble and stuff. And then one day we just accidentally put on something else, and we came back and they were sleeping. And my wife decided that they got too upset watching the news. Oddly enough, we never put the news on again, and we really never had any problems with them after that. So they seem to be reacting to it. Doug, I sometimes remember to put an extra flint in there under the slab in the bottom of the Zippo. There's a little hole that you can stick one in. I learned that from my dad. And problem is I often forget to do it. Yeah, Gary, I know. You probably remember the story. I had ordered like 10 packs of Zippo flints, and they came in, and and I opened the first one, and when I finished it, I could not find them. And so I ordered another 10 packs and opened it, and I went to put the new set of 10 packs away, and I thought, where am I going to put these so I'll remember them? I saw, oh, this drawer over here, and I opened it up, and there were the first 10. Right where I would have thought to put them. Brian Woodward says his family hasn't done anything exciting that he knows of, but they were always really good with a hammer. Well, that can be exciting, Brian. It definitely is news entertainment now, Tim. I mean, back then it was slightly better, but yeah, lots of arguments, and I just don't care about it. Yeah, Patrick keeps flints close at hand, and Jim says that's why he keeps a backup lighter. I know, Jim. I've got where are they? I usually keep a box of these close by now. I really like these 3-star matches. And I've got this contraption that is embarrassing, but it never fails me. So these, what are these called? Clipper lighters. I love them, but eventually they get to a point where they just won't light. Like you can see it's sparking, but it just won't light. And there's plenty of fuel. So I've got this electric lighter that my dad bought me for some reason, which is very cool, but can't light a pipe. But if I press this down, I can get this to light. So this is my emergency lighter that I keep down here. For those mornings when I run down here for a meeting that starts at 8 o'clock in the morning and I realize I left my lighter upstairs. That saved me a number of times. And I always keep a Bic or one of those clippers in my car in the little hand well of the door. I'd be glad to send you a flint, Gary, if you need one. Just let me know. Indiana Piper, I get them on Amazon. I think I got 20 boxes of them for like $10. And they're great matches. Now, despite all that redundancy, I still sometimes find myself needing to stop at a gas station to buy a Bic. I did put a Zippo flint in the clipper, Brian. It doesn't work. And it's not, I bought a pack of 5 of those and they all have the same problem. And I've tried everything. I've tried cleaning the wheel. I don't know why it doesn't work, but it just doesn't work. All right, Beowulf and Miss Kathy, you have a great weekend too. Thanks for joining us tonight, folks. Well, Indiana Piper's got a whole selection of backups there. Fantastic. And Jim PM just used a Bic. Tried a couple of different current butanes. They were horrible. Not like in the 70s. Oh, Gary, here. Steve is asking if there's a difference between Zippo fluid and Ronson. I have not used Ronson in a long, long time. There used to be a difference, is my understanding. But now, Ronson was purchased by Zippo. So they actually are made by the same company. And I think they're probably the same formula, but I don't know. I've not compared them. Yeah, for outside, the Zippo's definitely the way to go. Smarty Bob's saying that they are the same company now. Try pushing down on the top of the wheel as you rotate it back towards the spark from the flint. You mean just push it down as I'm... I can see the spark in there, but no. I can rotate it the other way, but it's not gonna... Just doesn't light. I don't know if that was in shot, but it wasn't lighting. Yes, Gary, I'm glad you're policing my drinking. Indiana Piper, can you get Swan Vestas? Because I haven't seen them in a long time. Smarty Bob, you almost made me spray water. Maybe it's a left-handed clipper. Name That Pipe got his Cornell and Deal Zippo in the mail today. Yeah, very nice. I'm very happy with mine. Brian Woodward says his pappy used to put kerosene in his Zippo. Yeah, you can put anything in a Zippo as long as it's flammable. I mean, that's really one of the great things about them. I can, siphon a little gas out of the car. You got a fire. Of course, if you could siphon a little gas out of the car, there's a lot of ways you could have a fire. Even alcohol. I've put denatured alcohol, methanol. Yeah, Doug, I expect that's the case. They're just not getting the spark to the gas nozzle. But what's weird is they worked beautifully for like, 3 or 4 refills, and then it just stops working. So something changes over time. Maybe the wheel gets loose or something. I don't know. Ah, okay, Indiana Piper. Shop in Bloomington. Yeah, I think they're difficult to get in the U.S. now. And Tim has composed the Spider Mite song. I saw your Spider Mite post on Instagram, Tim. Scary stuff. I wonder if that's what's eating my green bean leaves. Gary Edminster used jet fuel in his Zippo when he was in the Navy, and in a Scripto lighter. I have a beautiful Scripto lighter that I am going to make a video of, darn it. As soon as I get this shelving thing done, that's next on my to-do list. Michael Case sent me this really beautiful Scripto. I need to not restore it, but just replace the seals and stuff and get it working. And I can't wait to do that. It's a beautiful lighter. So it's coming, Michael, I promise. Ron is now drinking brown water? No. Well, the Nutty Irishman is pretty much done, and I'm pretty much done because we got 2 minutes to go. We'll give it one more relight. No, Smarty Bob, I wouldn't go with the McDonald's French fry. Let me rephrase what I said. You can put anything in a Zippo that's flammable and non-viscous. And has a evaporation point low enough that it will actually get up to the wick and light when it's struck. That's probably more specific than I need to be, but temper might have come out of the wheel. That's a good possibility, Gary. I don't know. That's why they call them disposable. Yeah, but these are sold as refillable, Michael. Well, this pipe is done. It's going to be a 2-pipe night tonight, guys. I will finish up this, and I will drink some water right after, Gary, just so you know. So Doug says that Swan Vestas are no longer available in the US. Don't know why. Contacted Swedish Match and they gave me no reason, but the match is not being imported to us. It's still available in Europe. Yeah, I don't know, but these 3-star are a pretty reasonable substitute. Well, folks, we are going to bring this to a close. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I had a great time as always. Always look forward to Friday nights with you guys. So I hope you all take care. Have a great weekend. I'll be back on Sunday with a video, and we'll definitely be here next Friday for the live stream. So take care, you all, and I promise I will chase this with water. Have a good one, guys.